Hi everyone, welcome back to Nina's Chelsea Corner and welcome to another match review looking at Chelsea 4, Panathinaikos 1. We won away in Athens. A convincing performance with our B team as it's now called. Mudryk deservingly gets himself player of the match. A goal, 2 assists, almost 3 as well in that game. A very composed performance. He can be proud and hold his head high after that game. But all across the board, pretty good. We looked like we had the game in control the whole time. I thought in the first 10 minutes, Panathinaikos really did look like the team that was doing more, that was threatening us up front. And thankfully, though, Jorgensen ensured that we could go on and ensure that we scored the first goal. And so we did. So great to see Maresca rotating once again and more players getting game time, because now with the squad we have, it's so refreshing that we can rest our starting 11 that comes up against Premier League opposition, and it means that we keep players hungry because they know midweek they can get their start and go and do their thing. Joao Felix gets 2 goals himself, obviously combines with Mudryk for the 2, and again it just goes to show that he doesn't need to be playing game in game out. He's got a great impact. Now I can already hear the it's just the Conference League comments. Now you really can't win in this situation, can you? Because you can only beat what's in front of you, and we're in this competition. That's it. What do you want us to do? Just, not be good? I mean, it's like both ways. You get criticised, but we're in this competition now. And I will say, last season, we probably would have struggled against a side like Panathinaikos, because we know that they've got quality. They're one of those teams that you look at in the Conference League and think, they could maybe pose some threat. And last season, they probably could. But the fact that we went there, we shut them down, we won convincingly with a team that we've rotated heavily, yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good from Chelsea. And we can only judge from what's in front of us. Again, it looks like we've got something really good building. More goals across the board, different goal scorers. It's just so refreshing and it keeps players happy, us fans too. But yeah, let's discuss the game in more detail. So the starting lineup didn't really surprise me. We all know that Jorgensen starts in goal for these games, and again, like I mentioned at the start of this video, that save at the start was a pretty excellent one, I'd say. He wasn't really tested throughout the game as we pretty much kept it in control up in their half, but for all I can say about Jorgensen, so far so good. I like what I see, and if it means that we've got a goalkeeper who can be quite confident in these games, then great. Yeah, we conceded at the very end, but again, that was just credit to Panathinaikos. It was a well-crafted attack, and they did score fair and square. But yeah, overall defensively, we saw Kukurea, who was kind of in midfield and inverted. He was quite heavily involved in our build-up play. You had Badiashile and Disasi there, who I thought Badiashile had a really good game, guys. He looked very composed, and it just makes me think that maybe the Premier League and kind of adapting to that in his first season, and then kind of he picked up a little bit of an injury, came back in, couldn't quite settle in, was maybe just a little bit of a too big of a challenge for him. And he looks much better in like the Conference League games, the games where we play against opposition, where he can take his time on the ball, and he made the correct decisions 9 out of 10 times, I'd say, yesterday. So special shout out to Badiashile, who looked really good. The Sassy, he made me laugh, guys. If you remember, there was a moment, I think it was in the second half, where he sort of dribbled through 3-4, well, not really dribbled through, but he kind of dribbled into the penalty area, and he tried to get a shot off at kind of like a tight angle there on the left flank. He just tried his luck, but then he looked over, I can't remember which sub, and just smiled and did like a face, and that's just the Sassy for you. But yeah, across midfield, we talk about how much space we had at times, and we were able to carry the ball well. Thought Dewsbury Hall was quite good at doing that, and so he did for the first goal as well, because he obviously passed it into Mudryk, or was it Joao Felix who... Yeah, it was to Joao Felix, who had like a little great header to Mudryk, bit of a 1-2, finished it off. Enzo Fernandez, shout out to Enzo Fernandez. He's been getting a lot of criticism, and some will say, he's just performing in the Conference League, but I won't hear any of that. I will defend Enzo. Yes, he has games where he should be doing better, but overall, I think he is doing just fine. So yeah, praise for Enzo Fernandez as well. And again, overall, with Carney Chukwuemeka and Cassidy coming on, you do look at us and think there are so many positions now where we have depth, you know, there's players to choose from. And while Carney may feel like he deserves more minutes and he should be starting in a game like this, I think Enzo Maresca's made it quite clear that perhaps he doesn't really see him as someone who will be part of the future plans, and it often leads to a case where he is last pick, even when like coming on as a substitute. So yeah, I think that's what we'll see. But, you know, when you look in the front sort of areas where we have, again, so much wealth of talent, and you look at that kind of front forward, Joao Felix, Mudryk, Neto and Nkunku, and you think, wow, you know, some of these players definitely could be, you could make a case for starting in the Premier League, starting in those weekend fixtures. And while I won't get carried away and say that Mudryk now deserves a Premier League start, because I think this, again, is a true reflection of how he feels comfortable. I think the Premier League at times is too rapid for him. I think he can't almost keep up with the pace of the game, which is ironic because he's quick, but that's not the point. Sometimes he makes the wrong decision, and we've seen that he's too hot and cold, and kind of throwing him into a struggling Chelsea side in his first season, expecting him to be a consistently, regularly well-performing winger was maybe too big of an ask. And I think this game was fantastic, where he had, you know, time to make decisions. He waited for players to, you know, run forward. He made very timely passes, almost again was robbed of a third assist, where Enzo Fernandez, if you remember, ran into it and just skied it way too high over the bar. But these are the games that you look at and you think, yeah, great Mudryk, you know, that's a team performance building and confidence building, and there's no reason why he shouldn't be starting in these Conference League games. However, I don't think it warrants him a start necessarily in the Premier League. Let me know what you think. Some might say that he was a bit more direct and that Sancho dribbles, stops a bit too much and doesn't create as much space for himself. But I do think Sancho's still much better technically on the ball than Mykhailo Mudryk. Equally Pedro Neto, even though he was played out on the right-hand side, and Mudryk was definitely the better winger out the two that night. But again, I think the Premier League is a little bit still a struggle for Mykhailo Mudryk. But yeah, I won't take away from his performance. Well done, Mudryk. That was a really, really positive performance. Joao Felix equally. I think he got a little bit bored in the second half as well. At times he was just like, no, I'm not going to run for that ball. I won't recover that ball. But the game was done then. We did have enough confidence to be able to relax a little bit. But yeah, Neto still, I won't shy away from the fact that, yeah, maybe he wasn't the greatest on the pitch, but his crosses, yeah, I think behind Cole Palmer, he's probably our best crosser in the team. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. And then finally, just to top off, cherry on the cake, Christopher Nkunku, who again just scores goals for fun. He had the laser pointed in his face when he was at the penalty spot, didn't really faze him at all. Calm, cool, collected, slots it into the bottom left, and yeah, what a great way to top off that away game in Greece. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts were, who you thought played really well. We go into the weekend facing Newcastle at home, which will be intriguing. It will be a tough test. We do need 3 points now that we've not been able to get as many points from our last 2 games with a draw and a defeat. This one is really crucial to win to get that momentum going once again. But guys, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and I will see you in the next one. Up the Chels.